Starts. Good. We are live. How are you doing, Daniel?
I'm fine, thank you, Kolawole. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me.
Cool. 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 One thing. What actually I wanted to talk to you is I see the things you do on Twitter in the marketing space.
Mm.
But I kind of dig deep to your profile and saw that you didn't start marketing maybe 2018 or so. What were you doing before
Yeah.
marketing?
Okay, so what I was doing before marketing? That one is very tricky because before marketing, I used to sing and I used to do podcast.
Wow.
These were the two things I used to do before marketing. So every other thing built on marketing. But yeah, it was basically what I used to do because as far back as 2017, people in Kano know me very well because I was the first runner up for one top gospel competition they did one time in Kano those days. It's called
Gospel
Bizarre.
music.
Yes, yes, yes. So then I think Bizarre League was held by I think the people who do no, I think the people who organize Bizarre League were leading feet, right? And then they have a branch of them they call Youth Alive. So it was a Youth Alive program, and then so many persons or so many contestants were coming all the way from outside Kano. They're seeing Abuja and the rest. But then I was the smallest person. But then eventually somehow, God willing, I was the first runner up. So I think so all my life I was thinking that okay, maybe I was just going to build on that and then eventually just start singing and it was just how it was for me. So my
Interesting, interesting. So you'll have turned out to be Dunsi Oyekon and co, right?
do you get that's what I was thinking. And I think from a very early age, I don't know if you know Apostle Selma, I think
I
um
understand.
yeah. So I can remember as small as I was, there was a time he came to Kano and then I was one of the backups for him. Hey, that time was so I really, really thought it was going to end like that. It was going to just be
Music.
like, from music and the rest. But I guess I did not have a proper plan to continue. And you just have like, going to university almost immediately and trying to like, get your head above the water. You just forget a lot of things that she had passion for. But yeah,
Mhm.
that was what happened before
Cool.
marketing.
Marketing. Cool. Music is actually spiritual. Music is spiritual. I don't know if you want to
Okay.
talk about music. Let's like talk about music generally. What do you get for currently for now? I listen to pianos and sounds.
Okay.
That's just the only
Okay.
thing I listen to currently. It's just something like I can play that does not interrupt my thinking, my strategy,
Mm-hmm.
does not interrupt with
Mm-hmm.
my day at all. It goes on in the background. I totally
Mm-hmm.
forget about it. And it just helps my consciousness stay on a very stilled mode. It does not go up and down. It just stays there steady throughout the day. So, but I
Mm-hmm.
just felt music is very spiritual. And one of the things that helps me do is whenever I'm having a very important thing in my life, say I'm preparing for an exam, I normally just play some sound, some music, and I will just connect with one of them. And that was the song that will be on repeat throughout the period of that thing. And anytime I hear that sound again, it will take me back to that particular period of maybe I'm praying for the exam. I don't know why
I
it's
do.
that though. I'm not a musical, I can't play any musical instrument. But I don't even want to speak about music generally.
Well, for me, I would say like so basically I think for most of us, right? I think there was a tweet I saw one time that says most of our careers or most of the things that we do, we build experience from the church. I don't know if that makes sense or that resonates with you. We build experience from the church. So I will tell you that for me, I would not say I was born into a 1001% too fireful family, but then my parents, especially my mom and even my dad, we respect the fact that there is a need to grow spiritually, right? And so growing up, um, my mom used to sing. She used to sing, but then she had always wanted to be a singer. But it did not also work out for her because, growing up in the village to,
Mhm.
experiencing life to getting married, it was just a lot of things happening that she could not keep up with, right? But then now there is a child, and then there's one of your children, or yes, there's a child among your children who is making sounds. Now, for me personally, I don't think anybody trained me in my early career to sound better. So I
Yeah.
did I did a lot of like self learning, and there was not enough tools to learn with. So I was just doing a lot of self learning until I think later in 2012 when insurgency started happening, that's insecurity started happening in the north. So we had to
Mm.
move
Yeah.
from, where we had our house to where people normally call Sabongeri now.
No.
Savongeri now in Kano, right? So we had to move there because it was considered more safe than where we were staying before. That was how I started becoming exposed to. Then I do not even know what a concert was called, a gospel concert. I did not know until I changed location. That's when I saw people my age as of that time were doing so well with their chords and the rest. But then, like I said, um, it was it was not too rosy for me to learn, like to shaping my singing a little bit. I will not say I'm there yet, but it was not rosy for me because I grew in a traditional church, the kind, not the kind of Western kind of church. And now this is me that sounds the way I sound, that is totally different from the normal norms. So let me put it in a normal time so that we'll laugh about it. So back then, we used to call people in my choir, I used to call them area singers
Okay.
because because uh, it was the typical waymaker, miracle worker. So if you sing like that, it's a problem when you're supposed to say waymaker, miracle. So it was just like a very far dynamics. Do you understand between like what I sound like and the rest? And people did not understand that I was not learning from anybody. I know how to
Mm.
speak well. I know how to produce a nice sound. It was not something I was doing intentionally, right? And I would say it did not really go smooth until later on in 2016. See, let me even off you. Do you know that I'm not trying to like cool down anybody?
Yeah.
My chord was not so trusted in my choir. My chords, that's my vocal cord, was not so trusted in my choir. So much that there was this particular wedding that they hosted, and I think I was singing in that particular wedding. They just looked at me, says, collect my from him.
Seriously.
I'm telling you, and it was a wedding because people came from places like Abuja, the West to come to Kano for that particular wedding because it was a church member.
So,
They even collected mic from me, and as a young person, that was really
collect the
discouraging.
time from you.
Yes, yes, it was that bad in a wedding. So now it took a long time for me to get to the point where I understood that it was not because I could not sing. It was just because I did not sound the conventional way that
Yeah.
people were sounding. Do you understand? So what it means is, or let me give you an example of one time that something happened. I think I was in the choir or I came for rehearsal, and then one of our lead music directors that time said, I'm going to all these churches around. See his words. He said, me, I'm going to all these churches around Sabongeri to go and learn how they sing and come here and be singing it. So I now knew that, oh, wait, it was not because, it was not because of I was doing something wrong. It was basically because of how I was sounding. But along the line, I also learned that they got to understand that, okay, not everybody will sound the conventional Igbo way or Igbo accent kind of singing. Some
Yes.
persons used to actually put earpiece and listen and then try to reciprocate what they hear. Yeah, okay. So some persons try to like put earpiece, listen, and try to reciprocate the kind of sound that they hear, and that's totally fine. So along the
Yeah.
line, when they started adopting Western songs, like
Yeah.
adopting where everybody starts with God is able to do just what He says. So when they now started getting all those kind of songs
So,
inside.
mm-hmm.
Yes, now it was now me. It was now then only me.
That could do that.
Yes, exactly. So it was only so that was how it got better. Then fast forward to like 2016. It was 2016 or early 2017. It was early 2017. I was in class one day, and then one of my classmates they called Emmanuel now said, with all this because I was the school music director as well as the school chaplain at that time, right? Chapel prefect at that time and assembly prefect. So it was just a mix of three things together. It was not like with all this my singing that he doubts I will be able to win Bezali or I'll be able to pass first stage of Bezali. I was like, oh wow, somebody has dared me.
Mm.
Okay, let us go. So from the auditions, now I'm telling you, okay, Living Faith Kanu can house about 2K persons.
Yes.
That's how vast used to be. And
Yes.
the auditions, because it cuts across contestants across different churches, right?
Mm.
The auditions used to be massive. So when I mean like you have contestants from Deeper Life, um, my church, like you have tons of people. So it was there. So when I came, I was like, first of all, I've not sung in a loud crowd before, and I'm still struggling to sing in my church because at the end of the day, they will still collect mic or they will sing something to say. So I was not, it was not really something entirely permanent for me, right? But then I was able to scale through the audition, and then for the next 3 months, because I think it runs from I think May to almost October, May, June, July. Okay, no, it starts from June and then ends
Mm.
in October because it's a stage kind of thing. Surprisingly, from play, I became the first runner up. So that's basically what I feel like my journey has been like, and I think
Mm.
that experience it helped my communication style. It helped my public speaking style because now. I think after that experience, I don't know what it feels like to be stage frightened by seeing a lot of persons. So now, have you see, it boils down to the fact that the church also enables you or creates a platform for you to really like test run real life experiences that you would definitely find healthy in the future. So I think that's
Learn,
exactly how it is.
learn things like public speaking from the church.
Yes, I learned public speaking from so okay. So another helpful thing I think I learned that I think people do not also find effective is mic control. So for
Correct.
people who sing, yes, for people who sing, mic control is very, very important, right? Now, while you may be thinking, oh, I don't sing, why should I learn mic control? Later on in my life, I worked in radio for yeah, I did work in radio later on in my life. And then I just realized that, oh, there are so many things that I know this concept from somewhere, and it was because I paid attention to learning how to set up my how to handle controls and the rest, right? So this and multitude other things can be one of the things that you can learn in the church, or the church provides platform for you subconsciously. Exactly. So yeah,
Wow.
that's
It's interesting. Yes, it's interesting because from your journey, I can see why you're in marketing. It's I can see why you're in marketing. There's a friend of mine that uh, I kind of introduced to reading books and all of these things. And there was a day we were discussing, and he said, he's a content writer, so to speak. And he told me that, people, I'm beginning to develop interest for marketing. I said, yes, it's natural for you to start the moment you start reading books, start doing public
mhm,
speaking, you start coming into that space because every skill you need to excel in that space, you would embody it. And I think that's what
mhm.
helped. Can you highlight like three skills you picked up from music and the church that you use now in marketing?
Okay. That one is tricky. So before I answer that question, let me tell you, like I tweeted some days ago, marketing was a backup plan if broadcast did not work for me.
Okay, broadcast was the thing you want to do. If
Yes,
music, like
yes,
music is not working,
yes,
broadcast.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I had a lot of things that I was like, okay, if this does not work, this should work. If this does not work, this should work.
Plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D.
It was a lot. So when before I came into school, I wanted to sing, but then I told myself I was going to go to the university and I was going to learn mass communication. I was going to learn how to because one of the stages of Bezalel that we had was before the final. We were supposed to go to a live radio like Cool FM or Wazobia, and then you're supposed to sing on air, and then people are going to call in their favorite. So the way I spoke on air, a lot of persons were not really calling to say, "Oh, the boy can sing." They were calling to say, "Ah, the boy sounds like he work on radio." So I picked up the interest. So when I went to school, broadcast was the goal until marketing just came in. So I'll tell you how it happened. So the first thing I'll say is I'll answer your question with three skills that I picked up. Now, one of the skills that I picked up was clear communication.
Mm.
Marketing is communication. You should be able to talk about your product or your service, or speak it in a way that you
Marketing
are
is
creating.
communication.
Yes, you get
Yes.
everything you are saying is 100% clear and crisp. If you don't know how to communicate, whether it's by speaking, that's oral or written, then there's a problem. Marketing might be twitchy for you, except if you are in the creative aspects. Let me say you are the photographer or the videographer. But I think you should also learn communication, because if you don't learn communication, how then will you now work with stakeholders? Do you understand? So basically, that's like communication was one of the key things. Then another thing I learned from music and at the same time that I could apply was technique and critical thinking. Now, in music, there's what we call riffs. There's what we call runs. So
Okay.
riffs could be ooh, all those. Ooh. So you understand. So why this might not be clear and crisp because my singing has been rough. It takes technique. It takes counting. It takes creativity to be able to say, okay, I want to run this riff or I want to do a scale. Yes, it takes technique to say I want to run this riff or I want to do a scale.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's exactly what it may look like at that point. So you want to run a riff or do a scale. So I think creativity and technicality was something I picked up from music that I think I could apply. I applied in marketing. Now the final thing I will say is being able to carry people along.
Is that not the mind control thing?
No, no, no. My control is so imagine this is a mic,
Okay.
mm, and there are some notes that you want to hit. Instead of you to shout, you want to shout, you take it away from you so that the feedback is not too loud for people to say, the person they shout, oh, but they can get the pitch. Also, another thing is the mic control can also be using your console to make sure that every this you are you know those people that have to adjust all the console that you so that could also it could come in both ways. But that's not the aspect. Carrying people along would be, sometimes when you are singing, for example, and you're like, okay, can you join me or join me? You are worthy to be praised. Come on, everybody, let me hear you. We give you. So everybody joins. So that's like you carrying the crowd around. So bringing into marketing, right? Um, Generally, you want to be able to carry your audience along just like in singing where you want every person to be blessed individually. You are not addressing everybody. You want at least one or two persons to be blessed individually. That's the same thing you want to do in marketing where you want to be able to carry everybody along, address their pain points, and like pick speak to them as them, not speak to them as. Do you understand? So I think that's something I learned. So let me give you an example. In my semi-finals was so this is more like testimony at the same time. It's more like I
All
have you
right.
just okay. So in my semi-finals, we had hymns to do. It was basically to do hymns, right? And then I can recall that day. I think I was the last person to go on stage, or the second to the last person to go on stage that particular day. And my hymn was when peace like a river attended your way. So after singing the Indian's way, when I now opened my eyes, I could now see those that were crying, those that were on the floor were on the floor, those that were lifting hands were lifting hands back. Why I understand that the power of God is not that the other has up to today. It does not have anything to do with singing, right? It also tells you that that singing or that song at that time was able to meet people individually. And that's exactly what you want to be able to recreate with your marketing. You want to be able to create a message in a way that it meets every individual point and address them as them or as a singular person and not like a large people. So I feel I am more connected to you because we are having a personal conversation. If here is larger, you might not get this personal level. You might not feel I'm communicating with you on a personal level because they're a large person that is being communicated. So that's just one of the things I think. Three things now. I think a summary of what I said is I learned technicality and creativity. I learned how to communicate effectively. Sometimes they'll give you songs that is difficult. You should open your mouth and tell them that you guys this song bill. And then the third one is being able to tailor your message or tailor music is also a message to the individual addressing their pinpoint. But back to my cover story, right, of how I jumped into marketing. So,
Marketing.
um, like I said, broadcast was the goal. Broadcasting has always been the goal. So while I was still trying to get admission in school, I thought, and then after teaching, I just had my own podcast, a little podcast, a little bit for a while. So I got into school. And then when I got into school, I had the opportunity to work for my school radio. That's how I started working for my school radio. But then a plot twist happened. I never so in my school, marketing is an elective course. marketing, advertising, they don't mix them. They're elective. I prefer to do advertising courses, not marketing, because I feel like I don't want to be in the streets for any
Yeah,
reason.
all of us thought marketers are people that are working in the streets. That was what I thought there too.
Do you so do you see? It's not just me now, right? So I was skeptical about it. I did not want to be on the streets for any reason. I wanted to go to school, be a broadcast or a journalist. That's what I wanted to do. But
Wow.
having to work in the broadcast as a co-host for one popular show, the Boss Cafe, I will never forget. That was the show we were hosting at that time. So one day there was this media organization in school they call Transparency. So I went there with a friend. They just randomly invite me, so I went. And that particular day, they were discussing strategy on how to move the media organization to another level, looking for how to just so randomly, randomly and thankfully, the person who owns the organization was now the one who now asked me, hello, and what do I think about this? So I now came up with a plan. In my mind, I was just recommending something that I think can work. And it sounded so unique and sounded so different. I was like, okay, I think I will need you to, be the forefront person of this particular strategy that you just spoke about. And that's how I became head of marketing okay, no, it was head of advertising, but then subsequently changed to head of marketing for that particular organization. And the result that we got was massive because three things happened. I was popular in school because of the radio I was hosting. I was also popular in school because there was no red carpet that did not want me to host the red carpet for them or events that no one used to help. And then this was a good opportunity the company could leverage on to also, or the organization could leverage on to, drive some of the goals that they had for their marketing. And that's just how I joined marketing. But still yet, I was chasing it hardly that I wanted to be a broadcaster. I interned in FRC. Okay, so I interned in FRCN. I interned in Cool FM. So these are two top radios, like two top.
Oh, radio
So it
shows,
was,
right?
do you get? So it was just easy for me to just say, okay, you know what? Let me just transition quickly to radio. But then
Mhm.
in my final year, I think it was my final year when it was I looked into the pay of what broadcasters in Nigeria earn.
Hmm.
And I just knew that I did not want to earn that. I cannot go to school and struggle.
And then start
Yes, you'll
getting
be popular.
that.
Yes, so if you, yes, no, I did not want that. And my elder sister is one of the persons I look up to, right? And then I see her in tech, and I see, God is good, though. Do you get? So I was like, I was now thinking, okay, what can I do next? So the first thing I thought about was to bear in mind I have during my short time, that's for since like 2018, I was head of marketing. Then I also became a digital marketer for a tech company startup, right? Crypto Tech Solution. The CEO played a major role in my life, in my career life. And after that, I did because I was still trying to figure out what I want to do. I was trying a lot of things. I did UI design. I even have a project that is unique that I designed from scratch till now. And it was designing that project that made me learn graphic design.
Hmm.
Do you understand? So it was the designing UI that made me learn graphic design. Now, after doing that for a short period of time, because I came back to school and was like, okay, I don't have the right resources to continue. Why I was able to work on it a little bit was because I was interning at Cool FM, so there was constant light. So whenever I'm less busy, I hop on my system, I try to design the project and also it was literally like good for me. The
Okay.
next thing I did was it was in final year that I now said, okay, while I am trying to do digital marketing and I'm seeing good results in it, let me look into human resource management.
Wow.
That was where I
I'm hearing
did.
a lot of art everywhere, man.
I'm telling you. So it was there that I now did. I took courses on human resource, and subsequently, it was I started liking the fact that you can set the culture of the company right, where it was something that. it was so unique for me that you can decide if people would want to stay in a company or not. It was fascinating for me at that time. But one of the things that I also know how to do is I like to take challenge. I would have easily from that point of my life say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go to HR full stop and full. Now, because of the journey of my journey in digital marketing, I was made a social media team lead for an NGO. Now, I kept on doing that for like close to 2 years or 3 years. Then, as of last year, I was made the head of corporate communications for them, handling everything communications, overseeing
Yeah.
all the. So that's it. I would have easily, from my final year in 2023, no, 2023 August, I would have easily just said, okay, you know what's going to happen. Let me go to HR and start doing HR. But I got a job in I got a job in the last day of defense, on the defense day. After my defense, there was a job waiting for me. Now
Wow.
that job was supposed to be for a network company as a digital marketer. But
Yes.
now the workload I had to do, the workload and the pay did not mirror each other.
Hmm. That's another big
Yeah.
problem in the industry.
Yes, they did not mirror each other. And in the first day, from the first day or the second day, the boss at that time was already speaking poorly to me, trying to make me bring me down and all and everything. It was just a lot. But I felt like, okay, this is not, I knew from that onset that this was not right because I was a social media team lead.
It's not
And
going to work.
yes, regardless of what happens in my team, I never speak down on my team members. I never speak down on you. We might disagree, like how a leader would most likely sometimes disagree, but I will not speak down at you. I just knew at that point that this was not a job I want to continue on, so I had to like take a break. But then I still kept on like building, doing more HR courses. I was doing HR course here, I would do marketing course here, do HR course here, do marketing course here, handle social media team because I was still at that place, building, growing until I think it was late 2023. Now you see, I started in 2018. Late 2023, I got a job. The job was a digital marketing intern. That would be my first opportunity to work for a foreign company before, or a company that was integrated in the US before. And I did not mind even see at that point, I just wanted to have like even if it's 10K or 20K be given to me, I don't
So
mind. So but then
you
my boss there, Mr. Daniel, was very generous and kind. So he constantly used to, like, try to, like, okay, So I think he also noticed that maybe my skill and my knowledge was a little bit high for the particular position I was in. He was now
yes.
the one that, so I said, okay, no, you're not intelligent. Let's take you, let's put you more on something else. Let's try to.
Hmm. And okay, let me come in there. One of the
Mm-hmm,
things I always tell people that you just said, I wanted to touch down on it, is that when people get into a company, there's a culture in Nigeria now that
mm-hmm,
people don't work. If you say it now, it will look like you are damping Nigerians. People
mm-hmm,
don't work. You hire a social media manager today, and you will be the one chasing the social media manager to get work done. But I believe that for somebody to see you and look at you and say, "Oh, hey, you are overqualified for this particular role. Come up, move up, move up." It's because you are showing up. You are showing up wherever you are meant to show up, right?
mm-hmm. I see. I agree with you. But at the same time, I also want to add that not every leader can spot, is attentive enough to spot when somebody needs to grow.
Cool, cool.
Okay, now because now let me explain to you just a moment. Okay, all right, that's fine. So let me explain to you how it works for me. I am presently a chief marketing officer for a fintech company. Right. I would have told you how it happened, but I'll still go back to it. Now, what I do is before I became a chief marketing officer for the fintech company, I was the marketing manager for an edtech company before. I've had other jobs that I did, but these are like my key positions, right? So what I do is whenever I get somebody on my team, I sit with you. And then when I sit with you on the very first onboarding day, show you your appraisal sheet because I used to create one for all my team members.
Okay, you create
I
an appraisal sheet.
Yes, on
Oh, no.
Google. I create an Yeah. So I create because now I have HR experience too. I know how
Mm.
it works. So I create an appraisal sheet for you and I also create a growth path for you. Do you understand? So when we come on the first day, I'll share my screen with you. Now you will not have access to that sheet, but you'll be able to see it. I'll tell you, okay, this is how I grade you based on your performance. I will show it to you. I'll show you what I expect from you every quarter. Do you understand? I will now tell you 90 to 100 is an A for me. And if you have an A in 2 quarters, you must definitely increase both in rank and both in salary.
Hmm.
So now that way, you know you are not
I'm clear about
yeah,
it.
that that way you are not fighting an empty battle. You are not working money tonight. And there's something about me. If you are in my team, if one of the reasons why I left one a company that I was working for is because the people in my team had grown to the stage where somebody can become the marketing head. But because I am there, that person cannot be the marketing head. So do you know what I did? I had to leave. But before I leave, I make sure that this person was set and then is set for this particular position, equip them with everything that they need. Right. So as I was going, the week I submitted my resignation, that person had a promotion letter to move up to the head of marketing for there. So it's because as a leader, I knew when there's a need for somebody to grow. And it's going to be very selfish if you like sit at that apex and that person has to do a lot to strive. You cannot go, you cannot shit. Do you understand me? So what I'm saying
Correct.
is I show you your appraisal. I let you see your appraisal. I'll tell you this is what I'm expecting for you. Now it takes 2 quarters for you to move from a social media manager to vertically a senior social media manager or a social media strategist. It takes 2 quarters. But then this is your result. If you max this result before that 2 quarter, trust me, even if you max it in 1 month or 2 months, let me say I give you a target of okay, let's grow across all social media by 500%. That's too much, but let me say I'm giving you 3 quarters to achieve that 500% across all social media platforms and have like good engagements by let me say 50 something or 100 and something. It just depends on how it's going to look like, right? I'm just trying to create numbers in my mind. And maybe after the first quarter, you had exceed your target for 3 months in a stretch. Now, what other managers will do is they will now want to give you more work, or now want to say, okay, now that you have exceeded 500, let me give you 700. No, the
Yeah.
day that it is, the day on my performance sheet, I see that you exceeded it, is the day I start pushing hard for you to be promoted. I push hard. Like I push it harder than anything in this life. I know how to fight. Executives will tell you. I'll push it very, very hard for you to come up. So I feel like your ability as a leader to look into your team, to see people's strength, weaknesses, opportunity for growth. Do you understand? An opportunity to also that other people can leverage on to be better. That's one of the ways you'll be able to gather
Honestly,
yourself together.
honestly, what
Yes.
you're talking about right now is something I've spoken about with somebody before that I pointed out. And I must tell you, this is profound for me. It's profound for me because I lead teams, right, marketing teams across some brands, and I don't have a appraisal sheet. I don't have that. So yeah, me, I'm a very honest person, and why I do my podcast basically is because of myself. I always tell people
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about the views on YouTube or Spotify. I don't care. I just believe I talk to somebody, I have a chat with somebody I think I can learn from, and I learn from them, and then I put it out there with the hope that anybody that wants to learn to, we just find it. I don't run promotions for them. I don't do anything. I just post it on Twitter. Yeah, the only thing I do is just post it on Twitter that okay, I share with this person. I pick these lessons. If you want to learn, to click on it and learn. That's all. So, but I don't. I'm learning from you right now because I don't have an appraisal sheet. I don't do. I don't have that. And one of the chaos, one of the problem that you spoke about, and I've seen, is not having a clear path for growth. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, because I've seen it's a problem in a particular brand I'm working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because Everybody that is working, if they don't know when they will have a pass mark, I think that is chaos for you. I think that's chaos. I'm just thinking about it now that it's chaotic
Yeah.
if you don't know
Okay.
when you are going to have a pass mark.
Hmm. Okay, so one of the things I do is whenever I draft, in fact, at this point, I think it was a few days ago because I recruited a few days ago or I announced a job open a few days ago, and then somebody sent me screenshot of them and say whenever he reads a job description, he knows that I was the one that writes it because of how unique and how kind it used to sound, and then how it is obvious that when you come inside this company, like I recruited for a community manager for one of the organizations I worked for in the past, right, recently. And during the interview or during in the job description, I was saying there's opportunity to grow from being a community manager to a community director. It's clear. He knows that it's clear. Now, what you do when you let people that deserve it, people that put in the work to grow, you help them because somebody who works in your company as a community, okay, no, a senior community manager, hmm, will not go outside to pick a junior, will not be do you understand? Will not apply for junior community manager roles. I don't know if it makes sense to you. So
Psychological.
do you understand? So there's one thing I also do. I don't just create a vertical growth. I create a horizontal growth. Now, vertical growth is maybe from, okay, so I've experienced a vertical growth before. While I worked in connecting, I joined as a digital marketer. In 2 months, because I matched the results, I was made the email marketing team lead because I was in charge of emails. After like a month or two, I moved up from email marketing team lead to marketing manager. Right. So I was now in charge of the operations of the marketing team and all. Right. That's like a vertical growth. But then horizontal growth would have been maybe from email marketing because I have knowledge in UI and then I also have knowledge in I can move from that marketing now to either UX writer to become a UX writer or UX researcher. So you see, I've gone horizontally out of the team. Do you understand? So I don't just create a vertical growth path for you. I also prospect your vertical sorry your horizontal growth. Vertical growth position in that within that role, horizontal out of the department. Because now, for example, somebody who has been in um, merchant success or customer service can be considered for a product support role. Now, that person has moved horizontally from the customer service department to product department because of their result or because of like how they are able to sing. So that's what I do, and it has so far it has helped me like have teams that can obviously come back tomorrow to say thank you. So so
This
basically
is
that's just
listening to you now. I'm actually in my head. I'm thinking about the chaos in one of the company I work for, and I'm thinking like this will solve the problem. This will solve a lot of problems for a lot of brands. A lot of problems. A lot of problems I see that happens is based on not having a growth path or
mhm, mhm,
what will happen if because personally I've seen that I did not have that problem in my career because I create my growth path for myself. So
mhm,
if I'm working for a brand now, so there was a time I was an email marketer for a brand. Then I started running ads for the brand. I started doing SEO for the brand. So the brand did not specifically start move me to a digital marketing role. I started calling myself digital marketer because I am no longer an email specialist, which they have hired me for. But the brand did not
mhm,
create that. I created that for myself.
mhm,
They did not. So, but I know how this thing affects my psychology. Knowing that I'm now a digital marketer actually increase my psyche and I'm able to go learn more and position I'm trying to study for that role. But
mhm,
I'm
mhm,
thinking, what if it's not everybody that's going to be like me? And it's happening in my company now because they might not be able to do that for themselves. I basically moved from being a digital marketer to start calling myself marketing manager because I just look at the
mhm.
things I do for you as a business and I say, okay, which marketing role or title fits this job description, and
Yes, yes,
I call
yes.
myself that. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
just doing advertising for you, I just call myself advertising specialist, and that is all. If I do
Mm-hmm.
consulting for you, I just say if I do growth for you, I say I'm a growth manager for that particular brand. But the point is, everybody is not going to be radical like me because I know what
Like
I'm doing
you.
is radical. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm not following the framework of a particular company. But I think everybody should pick a lesson from this, create a good. It's not even about team leads this time around. It's about executive and CEOs. Especially in Nigeria,
Yes.
especially in Nigeria, you do see you hire a junior product manager, and you don't have a pathway on how that person is going to become senior. And then when that person, it happens a lot of people. People will be in a brand now. They will be senior digital marketer, and they will be applying for another social media specialist role in another brand.
You know the funny thing, right? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes,
You can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay, so the funny thing
yes.
is, I think for leaders, one of the problems that we don't have, or one of the problems that we have is the people above us don't also do one on one. So we don't know how to reciprocate one on one in our team. So let me explain. Now, um, you want to see a CEO that is very mindful. He does one on one with his C-suite people. So
Okay.
as the CEO, that the C-suite reports to chief of marketing, chief executive, chief of operation, chief of strategy, chief HR, depending on how many chiefs that they have. If he imbibes a culture of one-on-one, a one-on-one that goes beyond asking them, oh, what's up with the business? Then obviously, you will ask this question, what's up with the business? Is there any challenge that your team is facing? And or to like know their career, like be intentional about them, right? If you don't do that with them, it is only a few persons that will be able to say, okay, let me be intentional about doing a one-on-one with our team members. Now,
Mhm.
so what I do in with my team members in one-on-one is I try as much as I can to not ask them about general work progress. I don't do it. The only reason why you have a one-on-one with me and we'll talk about work is either I want to re-show you your appraisal sheets to say, okay, this is your appraisal for last quarter. You are falling into from A, you are falling to B, but don't forget. So that way you remind yourself that, hey, I have something to do, I have something to meet up, right? If I'm not doing that to you, you're one-on-one on career with, hey, congratulations, so I'm moving you out of the marketing team, or congratulations, I'm moving you upwards before you get the official letter. Do you understand? But then
Yes.
on the normal regular one-on-ones that I have with team members, I ask them, do you think there's something you want to learn that you think I can make you or help you learn it faster? Something that you know that will improve your career. I also ask them question, in this role that you are doing, is this something you want to build career in or you want to move out? If you are not doing marketing, what will you do? Even because I have okay, so I'll come back to what I'm saying. I have my APHRCI. It means I'm an associate HRCI, yada yada, I have that certification. And also I took a course on integrating castrated people back into the societies by SPHRI. Right. So incarcerated people that have been arrested before, imprisoned for a long time, your ability to like interview them, merge them with a company that will not discriminate them and utilize them. I also have that experience. So most companies have outsourced me to help them outsource both their technical or non-technical team. Now, the technical part is because I also have experience in technical recruitment. I also have a certificate for it. That's from DevSkill, right? Now, I'm going to tell you something that will surprise you. One of the things I used to do that is obviously very unique is I always ask my candidates, if not this particular position or if not this particular role, tell me two roles you'd be interested in.
Hmm.
Now, when they tell me these two roles they'll be interested in, what I do is I pen it down. So when you come into the company, right, part of your learning program will include courses or will include recommendations from those particular two areas that you mentioned to me that you are interested in. I give it to you. Now I'm creating two things. I am giving you the full knowledge to learn, and then eventually you will not die in my company. If you see a job within this space that you want to explore on, you will not go there without any knowledge. You go there because somebody had recommended you, put you on the courses and helped you to like develop knowledge for it. If it's skills that I can incorporate from those spaces you mentioned to the marketing team to help you build those experience, I will do the same thing. So by the end of the day, you now realize that from your one-on-one or from your interview stage, this person would have told you that they call me D in the office, DEE in the office, right? They tell me say D. This marketing don't tire me, or some of them will tell you that, oh, D, I think I'm also strong in copywriting because I don't micromanage. If you are not getting results, it will be obvious to you that you are not getting results. So when this, you will know. So some of them used to be brutally honest to tell me that, D, this digital marketing is not working for me. Or what do you think? Or what do you suggest for me? I say, hey, so what do you think? What do you want to do? They will not tell you that, please, I need courses, or can you just let me just focus on copywriting? This guy is strong. As a manager, when you are done speaking, I will now tell you, okay, this is what we'll do, right? I will pair you with so and so that is good in art. Now, for the next project that will involve ads, both of you will run it together. He's going to supervise, he's going to tell you what to do. So you have hands-on experience while you take this course from Coursera. But if I don't do one-on-one with you, I will not know. I will
Eh,
not know. I will not
the
know.
only time the CEO want to talk to you is when he or she has an order to give.
You know them so well. So you like I feel like CEOs should have one-on-one with their C-suite or their executive team. Not a
Yes.
general meeting, a one-on-one where you are trying to understand the people that are
Their
in charge of
values, their
departments.
desires.
Okay, this is an extra conversation, right? I know, sorry, I know we are talking about a lot of things, but this is
Yeah,
an
let's go.
extra this is an extra conversation. So a friend of mine works for a consulting firm here in
Mhm.
Lagos. Now, she was telling me one day we were just speaking, and she was telling me that she was at a particular conference that they held because they're a consulting firm, and then they try to like sensitize CEOs at the rest. And there was a matter that they treated that was sensitive. Now, the CEO stood up to say that his company is currently in a big trouble now because two of his staffs are currently mad. Let me use the word mad, have mental, yes, mental, this, now they are hospitalized. Now, one of them had to even come, parents had to come with police that they want to see, and both of them are inside one particular team and members of one particular team. So the mother of one of them, after the first one had gone for medical checkup and environmental related, this is life story. The other one now came and said, you want to know who is the person that used to always make them feel like they are not useful, they are not useful. These children will come back, they are stressed, they are old, psychologically now see the problem they are facing. It was not realized that one of the head of that particular department is a soft talker, but a bad boss.
Wow.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Because so if you don't listen carefully, you will
You will
not know
not
that this
see
person, yes, this person is a very, very bad boss.
and thought
Because
because it's soft.
because the it was a lady, sorry, she was a soft talker. Yes. He now said that was when he now had to like secretly call other members of the team to now really do evaluation to know, okay, what's going on here, what's happening. He now started saying that this is what it looks like, but nobody can actually want to believe, and it's impossible to even report her because the boss herself is, that's the head of their department, is a high performer, is a high performer. So,
Wow.
as a CEO, you obviously want somebody that is high performing to lead your team, to lead
Correct.
your to lead a team or lead a department. But unknown to him that while she's a soft talker and a high performer, she's not a leader. She's not a great boss. And now it's mentally now affected people in the team, leading to two persons to, losing their psychology amidst the job. So what it simply means is that if you don't speak to your team members, especially the ones that are in charge of people,
People.
you you might miss out on a lot.
People management skill is another thing entirely. People management, and I think
Very, very
everybody as you are learning, you might be your skill might demand that you become a manager, but you have to improve on your soft skills. You
mm,
have to. It's
Mm.
very important. Your leadership skill
You
and
know,
all.
my experience has taught me something, right? When you
Mm.
climb higher on the ladder, sometimes people think, oh, before I became a manager, like I said, I started my marketing career as the head of marketing, right? And then I've been growing head of, so currently I'm a chief strategy for somewhere, chief marketing for a fintech, and still head of corporate communication elsewhere, a people and culture manager, and then I also recruit. So I do five things simultaneously, right? So what I've realized is that prior to having these experiences, I was thinking, okay, maybe when you go up with the ladder, the workload just reduces for you and all. But it's a lie
Mm.
because when you climb up that ladder as a manager, there's now a battle you face internally because managing people is much more difficult than managing process or
Yeah.
managing operations.
Now
Because
you have
once
to
you are doing
rely on people to do your job, to do that thing you want to do, not about you doing it yourself anymore.
those exactly, so it's going to be 90% strategy. Now, don't forget that when you become, for example, like the chief marketing officer that I am now, the marketing team is running on your strategy. Now you had something on in mind before you created that particular strategy. Now seeing somebody deviate from it can trigger you.
Mm.
So
Correct.
when you go up now, you're not literally fighting a physical battle. The battle you're fighting is a battle between yourself and ensuring that regardless, I will stay intentional. I will not hurt this person's feelings. I will be a leader, I will not be a bad boss. So it's a battle because such things can make you to react in a very aggressive manner or react in a toxic or micromanaging manner. So when you
Mm.
go up, it's not easier because you will be thinking strategy at the same time you'll be managing the most difficult resource to manage, which is people.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been awesome talking to you. I'm enjoying the conversation, to be honest. I'm learning a lot from our talk. Okay, let's talk about this one, this part. Romantic relationship. I see you talk about it on Twitter sometimes, and I don't know if you want to talk about romantic relationship. What's been your experience? What do you think we are getting wrong in this generation? Divorce rate is increasing every now and then, but we insulted our parents that they were no good at relationship. Our mothers are silent, our fathers are simps. Yeah, everybody just feel they are perfect and we know how to do it better. But we're missing it.
Mhm.
We have a higher divorce rate compared to them. And what do you think? I don't know if you want to speak on that.
Okay, so one of the things I'll do is I'll try as much as I can not to really insult myself because
Yeah.
relationship and maybe there is to go one way. And the reason why I don't do relationship is because I am an empath. So being an empath, what it means is that empathy is a huge part of my life. Maybe that's why I'm a good leader too sometimes, and it can also play in my face. I have had to hear people cry about their relationship, hear people complain, see beautiful things go to dust because of greed or because of lack of respect, sudden disrespect for each other and the rest. So I would say I'm in protective ends that me I cannot deal with it too. And secondly, I was close to first class. A relationship made me to
Wow.
so that's what I don't want to go really much into that. But here's what I'll tell you. I'll tell you that one of the things that's killing our generation is lack of authenticity.
Cool.
And hurt people, it is hurt people that hurt people. Two things. Now let me explain. When I mean lack of authenticity in the sense that some persons don't have authenticity for themselves. They are not authentic to themselves. So they cannot be authentic to another person.
They don't know what they actually want. What they think they want is something they saw on social media and they think they actually want it. Then when they
And
get it, they don't feel it.
another thing that people, I think, is our problem is we God win for the surface and we don't know what happens on the back end.
Yes.
Personally, I grew up seeing, okay, so I grew up seeing my parents. I will not say they are all lovey-dovey, like all the whole PDA kind of thing. I will not say they are, but I can
Yeah.
tell you for sure that My parents love each other. It's just that they don't have the so much thousands of ways to express it,
That's
right?
it.
But based on the actions, based on how they speak to each other, I don't mean like my mom to my dad now. I'm saying my dad and my how they speak to each other, how they quarrel about things they don't agree on and still maintain respect for each other, how they get angry. These are the things that we don't talk about. How they get angry at each other, and then tomorrow morning you're like, wasn't it these two people that were so yeah, at each other? Do you understand? And the ability to find balance. Now, let me explain to you what's currently happening on Twitter. There are two categories of people like me I have seen on Twitter. Category A, nobody hurts them. Nobody even caused them any pain in this life. But public opinion favors people that either choose side. I'm speaking for
Yeah.
this or to so they tilt that way. There's this other person's type of persons that don't know themselves. They don't have like a proper self-identification. They don't know what they want for themselves. So what they do is they come online to look at what people tell them a good relationship should look like or what a bad relationship should look like. They pick and then they now say, okay, this is the one we'll run with. Now, when it comes to love, there's something I believe. Whatever makes you say I do to a person, be it a relationship, be it girlfriend, boyfriend, be it marriage, is what you will need to sustain a relationship when there's problem. Now, let me give you an example. There are four reasons I think people say I do. People can marry somebody or date somebody because of money.
Yeah.
People can date somebody or marry somebody because God said so, that this is your partner or this is somebody to build with. People can date or marry because of sex. People
Yeah.
can date or marry because of, let me say, love.
Hmm.
Things. People can date or marry because of pity. Five things. So now you see these five reasons that people can date or marry for. Whenever the relationship hits the hard stage, the rock bottom stage that is supposed to lead back up to the spring stage, right? That the factor that made you say I do in the first place is what will either keep or break that relationship. So if God says so, that this is your partner, when there's a problem, who do you run to? You run to God. Say,
God.
God, I was here. Oh, you should have shown me that. Say, this man is the one to be, this girl is the one to be. And then because that relationship is built on his integrity and you have tied it to the integrity of God who told you this is your partner, right? What will happen is that he will step in and tell both of you or create a clear path for you to resolve your issues because now you tied that relationship to his integrity because he told you or he gave you a sign and said, okay,
God.
this is the person who will be for you. Now, if it's love, the truth about it is that love, the fact that they say love can be rekindled means that there's a chance for love to turn off. So if it's 100% on love, you will still hold on to the love, or you still go back to it's because I love this person. If not, I don't come off for here, or if not, I don't do something because now you're holding on to love. Do you understand? But it used to
Yeah.
be very difficult. Where it used to be difficult is because when love goes off, if there is nothing, like if there's no love from one of you, it will not, that one is straight divorce because now you don't have love, the girl does not have love, or the person does not have love. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, if it's because of money, when the money finishes, what then happens? Then there's you married for money, so you cannot be money has. So had it been the person is treating you poorly, or if the person is treating you poorly, right? You will hold on to money. But if it's a situation where money is not there, you will not. The person will irritate you so bad that you cannot. There's nothing to hold on to because you married them because of money.
Yes.
You,
Yes.
if it's for pity, what of the day that pity clears off your eye? If there's an issue, you either hold on to the pity that made you marry them in the first place, or the issue clears off. If the pity clears off, you now say, "And what is 180?" And then finally, if you marry somebody because of sex, there's no how you can explore 1001 times. You can explore somebody
Good.
that you will not get bored. It's not going to be possible. So the only thing here is my advice to whoever is in doing relationship is your motive is what you will hold on to. when things start hitting the ground or when it's not looking like that anymore.
You're
When,
not.
the person, do you get? So, and another thing is, social media is not a real world. If not, the Bible would have told us so.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's not, it's not a standard
Yeah.
that you look out and say you want to be married for. It's not a standard. Now, I
Yes,
also know I
people
also
show their
mentioned,
it's only their highlights that we see.
nobody, nobody, Kolawole, nobody posts their bad, their worst on social media. Even the worst, they post a better version of that worst on social media.
Yes.
Even their worst, they post the better version of that one. So when it comes to love and relationship, right, your ability to, whenever you sleep, this Bible says the renewing of your mind. You understand? See,
Yeah.
it's a constant thing. I'm not a pastor, but it's a constant thing. When I sleep in the night, I wake up, I know this person I knew. I sleep, okay. The version of them that I slept knowing, I'm waking up to something new. I want to know this person I knew. You just find yourself finding them fascinating on a daily basis.
Yes.
It's going to be very difficult, but subsequently you just realize that you and your partner have a unique dynamics to yourself every day. That
Yeah.
moment where you start to look like them, you start to speak like them.
The,
Now, this is something that is not pity or what would I say, money can create. It's something that you know that love, God, and intimacy can create. Healthy intimacy can create. Do you
whatever
understand?
position you are in the social hierarchy, you can have that. You can have that side of it, that type of intimacy. You can have it. Either you are rich, you are poor, you can have it.
The funny thing is, at the same time, culture and the society has changed. It is not like how it used to be before.
Correct.
Now, this is where I don't agree with most people per se, right? Now, what is it is, during my dad's time, he wanted to impress her so bad that he left Kano because he was person in Kano. He left Kano, and every time, as of that time, Kano he left Kano, and then he always used to make sure that in August he goes home. In August he goes home. In December he also goes home to see his mom and also see her rest. So finally, upon getting married and all, he did what he thought was the standard at that time, was the outgoing for them to prove. He got her a SIM card and a phone. As of those times when it was very, 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 very expensive. Got it for, and up to today, right? Even a lot of modification, and they moved to Celltel. I don't know the name before it was called Airtel, but I think it was Celltel, and the rest they just
Yeah.
kept on changing it. If not
And
of Vodafone, I think it was Vodafone that became Celltel. I'm not
Vodacom,
sure.
Econet, Sete. Yes.
Shit, all those things, I cannot really recall what it's like. So what I can tell you is that he loved her. So he went out of his way to show her that okay, this is it. Now, did he
Yes.
have the heavens and the earth that time? No, he did not have the heavens and the earth that time. But now responsibility told him that this I am responsible for you if I say I love you.
Mm. Mm. And
So
she
sometimes
was
people,
seeing it as,
yes, okay,
oh, this guy is Momo. I want
okay. Now, so let me now tell you another amazing thing about it, right? As of that time,
to. Yes.
nobody was comfortable with coming to the north. Nobody
Correct.
wanted to marry and move to the north.
Or not. Yeah.
So for somebody to say, okay, you know what, everything I have in this village, let me take the risks because I like this person. Let me take the risks because I
Go
like
to
this
that
person.
hot spot that you
And
are
go to
hearing
that
about.
north. Exactly. To go to the north we have been hearing about. So it also proves that responsibility in love, responsibility in saying that and in reminding yourself that it is my duty to healthily compromise. I am not
Hmm.
compromising because of a man or compromising because of a woman. I'm compromising because it is a responsibility to make this work for us.
For both of us. I have to do it for us. It is like a duty, regardless
It's like
of
a,
if I'm getting a praise, I'm getting thank you or not. It's like a duty.
it's more like some persons will come and tell you that your siblings should stop feeling entitled. Your siblings, you can choose not to give it. No, you don't give your siblings money or you don't give your family money because you think they deserve it. No, it is responsibility to
Yeah.
provide for. Do you understand me? So it also comes into with relationship. We have a lot of people that don't want to be responsible, people that just want to be okay. You know what, I think I own you or I want to do it. No, it's responsibility. My pastor used to say those times, he said God made Eve as Adam's helpmate. He did not make Eve as Adam's subordinate. That's what me I believe. A
Yes.
helpmate is this table that my laptop is on. If they say I need a helpmate, what it means is that the person will be on this side and I'll be on this side, and then we'll lift it up. That's a
Correct.
helpmate. Now, a servant is going to be somebody who you can tell, you and carry that table and go. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Another thing that people also miss out on is that the love is not 50-50. It should never be 50-50. That's my opinion. It should be, sometimes you can be 30, sometimes
Yes.
the love is two of you together 100.
It can be
So
90-10. You can be
it
carrying
can
the
be
whole
nice.
relationship at a
Yes,
point.
point. But then the funny thing is that it does not have to be one-sided for a long time. Do you understand? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It does not have to be one-sided for a long time. So sometimes everybody knows that at some stage of pregnancy, she'll start finding the man irritating.
Yes.
It's not because she wants to do, but sometimes her hormones are everywhere. Do you understand? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you may see that the man lost his business and he's not giving into, or it's not because of you, it's because he lost his business. So your ability to also say, okay, scripture says his grace is sufficient. Do you understand? So it means that at that point, your love for this person has to be sufficient for them, well enough
Correct.
that at the end of it, 15 plus 75 will give you 100. At the end of it,
Correct.
75 plus. Do you understand? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, the thing is, in the African society, nobody truly teaches us how to love or how love is done.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody do,
Yeah.
because now whether you like it or not, even when you enter puberty and you say, oh, you want to try a relationship at all, it's beating they used to use and follow it. Nobody tells you, oh, this is, you understand? So every experience that you have comes from either a place of pre-existing society norms or a place of personal discovery that might be disastrous.
Correct.
So that's my 2
Correct.
cents on relationship.
Thank you, Daniel. It's been interesting conversation. True and true. True and true. I just try to make this thing around 1 hour for now
Okay.
because I definitely know we could go 3 hours discussing these things. One last thing I want you to talk about in maybe 3 minutes, then we'll just go to the last part of the podcast is books. I make sure I talk about books in all of my
Hmm.
sections and episodes. What books are you reading? What books actually impacted you? Can you talk about books generally?
Okay. Books that have impacted me outside novels, right? Okay, so there was this book I read by Joyce Meyer. It had to do with, I'm trying to recall the name. That's the last hard book that I read before, because now I just listen to podcasts. I
Yes.
listen to podcasts a lot of TED talks. I'm also listening to it. I think it's something on emotional intelligence. The book is supposed to be on this table. Now, that book was one of the books that really, really helped me. Sorry, I want to just give me a minute. Let me be
Okay.
sure.
Go ahead.
Joyce. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Yes. So it's Mayor book, Managing Your Emotions. That's the name of the book. Managing Your Emotions by Joyce Meyer. So that book made
Emotions.
me understand that anger is also an emotion that God gives to us. And one of the problems
Hmm.
that we used to have we used to invalidate anger. That you are angry, you now start invalidating the fact that you're angry. No, anger did not come from us. It was also just the same way he gave us joy, peace, happiness, sorrow. He allows us to feel sorrow. He also allows us to see anger. It is now what you do with that anger that will now determine whether you are actually a child of God or not. Do you understand? So that book really helped me to be able to. It was even the book that made me really understand the types of people, how to approach people. I think even this something surrounded by idiots too. I also
Yeah,
read that one too.
about
So
it.
if you those books are the books that really helped me. I don't know. I've not read anything on my career per se, right? But I've read things that help me interact with people, manage people outside listening to podcasts. So my birthday is actually a month today. I'm thinking on my birthday, I will spoil myself with a lot of books that I would read because I also need the
Oh,
details in my mind.
seriously, seriously, books are powerful. Everybody I want to, anybody I see like this that I want to change their life or have something to teach them, I just go buy the books that's going to teach and hand it over to them. And it works so perfectly for me. I don't stress myself. Well, I believe if I tell you something, for example, I'm not actually I'm not successful like that. I'm not there yet. I'm not a billionaire. So people, you won't listen to me. You won't take it seriously. Yeah, because you'll be like, oh, who is this guy? But if I buy you a book and you read it from maybe probably an Onyibo, you most likely
Mm.
believe it. So then you'll be like, oh, and then it will look like you are the one that discover it yourself. Human being, when we discover something, you'll be like, oh, I'm the one that understood this thing myself, and you'll be happy, you trust it, and you believe it. So most of the time, anybody I have any, if I want to teach anybody anything, I just buy them the book and then I give it to them and they read, and it's been working perfectly. Thank you very much for sharing those books with us. Then before we go, I always ask this or that question at the end of my shows, and you just give me one. You just pick one of them, and then are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Radio shows or TV shows?
See, let me tell you the truth.
Pick
TV
one,
shows
pick
pay.
one, pick one.
Reading. I prefer
Radio.
reading.
Okay,
Mhm.
we'll talk about it when I'm done. Books or podcast?
Podcast for me. It's podcast for me.
Remote job or hybrid?
Hybrid.
Okay. Will you stay in Lagos or you will stay in Enugu City?
Lagos or Enugu City. Yeah, and I've lived in both of them. I hate Lagos, but there's no job in Enugu. Lagos because of job.
Ofaku or Ofonugbu?
Ufako is Onubike. Ew, what's with that?
Moses or Job in the Bible?
Eh?
Moses or Job?
Job, oh, Job, I beg. I like the aftermath of Job.
Okay, John or Matthew?
John almost. John.
Okay, iPhone or Samsung?
Oh my god, I miss my Samsung. But because of camera quality, iPhone.
Okay, Twitter or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is my forte.
All right. Awesome. Why are you confused about radio or TV?
Okay, so for radio, the thing is, TV pays well. TV is a part of broadcast that pays well, but getting into it is difficult because people experience typecast. Typecast is where they want you to look a certain way. They want your teeth to be a certain way for some persons, and then your unique look at rest. It pays better than radio, and then the options of going viral and having like your stellar moments out there. But radio is the peaceful one where that requires more creativity because now from the way you sound, your sound would either tell is your sound or the way you sound that makes somebody to feel a certain way or to feel a particular emotion. So it's the more creative part, if you ask me. So, but then yeah, radio because I don't like my face like that for camera.
Awesome, awesome. So, guys, that's Daniel for you. We did an interesting conversation with Daniel. I enjoyed myself. Honestly, and I learned a lot. So, one of
I
the
do.
I just like the fact that this podcast they're going the way I want, because I just want it to be so natural, and it is. It's like it's just giving it real, and it just flows from your experience. I don't want to talk to
Yeah.
somebody and it looks like they're answering an
Mhm.
interview and making it that
So,
hard. I don't want it. So thank you very much, Daniel. So as I closing the show, what will you leave us with?
okay, so what I'll give you, firstly, I want to thank you so much for having me here, Kolawole. I respect you so much, and you are one of my Twitter blessings. I'll also say one of my Twitter blessings. But then, for whoever listens to this, right, if you're a leader or a manager, please create a clear growth path for your team members. You will do them a lot in life by making them grow, push them all you can, push them the way up. And then now, for those that are going to be in relationship, when you tell somebody I do, check the motive. And the word I do simply means that you keep doing what you need to do until the best thing to do is to walk away. That's if you're not married. But if you are married, the best thing to do would now be to either seek external help or to keep trying to make it work. But don't die it. Then moving away, books will change your life so much as podcasts, but I'll prefer books in case you want your minds to really do the technical thinking for you. So outside that, I want to say that don't stop listening to Kolawole. It's very important because episodes like this don't come all the time. Like you said, it's not scripted. So if you don't listen, you will not get the inside this short podcast now. I know it's a long time, but we've shared unique things that you can pick and move your career to the next level. Thank you so much for having me. That's
All
all.
right, bye everybody.